everyone, this is Paul Stewart here from Segmented Solutions. Just doing a short introductory video to explain our new SSAS Property Chatbot. And the setting here is my bar, because I've heard so many times in my 35 years of giving tax advice that a client or prospective client has sat and had a conversation with someone down the pub who seems to know better than the barristers and the lawyers who are advising them. So for today, I'm your man down the pub. So let me introduce you to the chatbot and what it does. Okay, so first thing is, the chatbot is an expert system that's been developed with technical knowledge from myself, having worked in the SSAS and pensions world for the last 30 odd years, but it's also got input from solicitors to do with conveyancing, VAT experts with regards to VAT registration on property purchases, and also from stamp duty planning and advisors. So there's a lot of other people involved in the background, but let me explain what you get. Okay, so the first question is, do you want to continue? And I'm going to say yes, please. First thing to note is the chatbot deals with commercial and residential property. And the first question is a really easy one. What's your name? So I'm going to put my name in as Paul. And it says the first assumption is that you're going to be using money which is currently sat inside a SSAS pension. And that's really important. We're not dealing with personal money. We're not dealing with personal taxation or company taxation. This is money that's sat within a self-administered pension scheme. And it says, really important, you answer these questions based on what you want to do with regards to property. Nothing to do with what you may have heard in a Facebook forum, or you may have been told by another SSAS practitioner or professional trustee. And I don't mean to be disrespectful to any other professionals, but my approach is to start from what you're trying to achieve and then work it back in terms of what's the best way of achieving it, rather than saying to you, you're going to do a loan back, you're going to be doing this, you're going to be doing that, because it might not fit and it might not work. And that's actually a really dangerous approach. So I'm happy to proceed, and the chatbot starts to ask its questions. So the first question, what type of property am I looking to buy? Let's make it nice and easy. Let's start off by buying a commercial property. But the chatbot does cover all different variations. And I'm going to buy it from, I'm actually going to buy it from one of my own businesses, just so there's a connection there to make it even more complicated. And the next question is, what am I going to do when I buy this commercial property? Well, I want to do something to it, so I'm going to put develop or refurb. And again, nothing too onerous in terms of technical questions here. And what am I going to refurb it into? Well, I'm going to refurb it into, let's say, an HMO, because there's a lot of people who like houses of multiple occupancy, get a nice level of income from there, particularly if you start out buying commercial property. The next question is, do you need any funding? And I'm thinking, yeah, let's make it complicated. We don't quite have enough money in the SSAS. So yes, we're going to say funds are needed. And when I'm finished, I want to rent out this HMO. So far, the chatbot has got it right. It's got a summary here. It's saying that I want to buy a commercial property from one of my own businesses, and I want to convert it into an HMO, but I don't have enough money to do the full conversion and the purchase from what's in the SSAS, so I'm going to need to borrow some money. And it's asking me if that's correct. If it's not correct, of course, you can start again, but I'm going to click yes, that is absolutely correct. Now what's happened is the chatbot has jumped me over to the Segmented Solutions website, where it's generated a web page for me. And in this web page, it reiterates the summary. It says whether this is allowed in a SSAS. Are you allowed to buy a commercial property? Yes, of course you are. It then talks about council designation of property in terms of conversion to an HMO. And it gives you warnings there in terms of what the local council may require from the HMO that would cause your pension to have an issue. It then scrolls on down and talks about alternatives alternatives that other people may come up with in terms of refinancing the project prior to it becoming an HMO. There's a lot of debate as to the timing of when that needs to happen. Should it be when a habitation certificate is issued, or should it be earlier when kitchens and bathrooms have been installed? Again, it talks through these alternatives and also explains that there are some exemptions, and it's a lot safer to use an exemption rather than keeping your fingers crossed and rely on the expert down the pub, which frankly I'm trying to be today, just to be a bit humorous. It then talks about alternative exits and funding that's needed, and it also goes on to talk about stamp duty, conveyancing. There's also a note on VAT, also talks about various exemptions you might get on the purchase if you are wanting to convert this property into residential, which is something you try and avoid if you're involved in a SSAS. But in this particular case, you might actually want to do that to save on cash flow because you haven't got enough money involved. And at the bottom, there are 2 videos. You said you wanted to have some borrowing, so there's a video which explains all the rules to do with lending and borrowing, and there's another video talking about REITs and genuinely diverse commercial vehicles, which are 2 structures that have very specific exemptions, which will allow you to do the commercial purchase and convert to a residential property and run it as an HMO, all within your SSAS, without having to get close to the line in terms of refinancing, which is very costly, or with regards to spurious loans to connected or unconnected parties. So that's what you get with the chatbot. And there's also a video masterclass link and a tax planning consultation. So that's it. That's the Segmented Solutions SSAS chatbot, and it covers every single permutation in terms of property purchase. And I hope that that will be of interest to you. Thanks very much for watching, and all the best in your SSAS property journey.